about one thing in particular, and that is it's kind of a major thing, I guess, to some people. Other people, they're like, well, why does it even matter? I'm on this side or I'm on that side. So I want to talk about pocket listings. And the reason I want to talk about pocket listings because there's so many people that are so against pocket listings. I heard the $9 billion woman, and if you do not know who she is, I will be talking about her in another time. But even she was in an interview, and she said, I always like to give the choice and the option. So, and I love that because even Douglas Elliman, the CEO, said the same thing. He goes, you have to give your clients the option. It might not be what you want them to do. It might not, attract the most amount of buyers, but who knows? They might be a celebrity. They might be a professional athlete. There's a whole bunch of reasons why people would like to have their home not on the MLS. And I don't disagree with them. I think that it's smart in some circumstances. There's a client that I have here in the Cherry Creek neighborhood, and they're on the fence, and they even asked, they're like, is it all right if we do a pocket listing? I go, why not? This is not my house. This is your home. If you don't want people to be snooping around and coming around and doing all that, that's fine. We can do a pocket listing. I go, but you're going to see a much more effective value for listing your property on the MLS. I'm not saying that we can't do that later, but it's definitely a lot more advantageous. So for me and my standpoint, it really does depend. I have friends and colleagues here in this office that I work at in Coldwell Banker that are completely against it. And I understand them. I really do. But when it comes to the end of the day, you have to do what's right for your clients, and you have to do and go off of your client's directive for the most part, unless it's going to be detrimental or if it's something that's unsafe. There's numerous reasons, numerous other situations for that too. But when it comes to a pocket listing, Compass has basically come out and said, we're still doing this. And a lot of people have had a lot of pushback with that. And I don't think it's a bad thing. But at the same time, I do think that not every home needs to be a pocket listing. I don't think that every single home needs to start off with a month of just being a pocket listing so you can really generate more marketing and things like that, which in hopes is a way that you could do it, but it's not the smartest or best way to do it. A pocket listing can only be advertised to your office, and that is also and could also be a detriment to your clients because not everybody in your office, for example, are looking for a $5 million place, or they don't have a $5 million client. I'm not saying that's everywhere. I'm just saying in general stances, it's very difficult to get some of those clients and some of those houses off the market. The other thing that I wanted to talk about with this is that I do think when you do come across someone that says, I want to have a pocket listing, I think what you need to do is just say pause, and not out loud, but in your head. Change to what their needs are. Change to figure out why they want to do a pocket listing. Because if they tell you, hey, listen, I have a professional that lives next door to us. They don't want, a lot of foot traffic. They don't want people to know that they're here in case they come outside and see all this. They really want to have that privacy. And that's usually the most of the reason why people do pocket listings. Now, in terms of why some people will never do it is because they don't feel like it's advantageous for their client. And I don't really disagree. I really don't. There's times when I've even seen it in Chicago and people have a pocket listing. I'm like, I get that, but why is this a pocket listing? I even have that inquiry all the time. But when it's all said and done, I hope that you guys understand that you do have a choice in that kind of a capacity. You don't have to list your house right away on the MLS. I do want to let you know there's a caveat with that. You'll still accrue those days on market. And when you do that, it'll still show up when you decide to go ahead and put your house on the MLS. So it's a give and take in this whole scenario, in this whole situation. But through it all, I think that it is somewhat of a smart idea to consider all options. And if you have a house in a neighborhood that is very desirable, I would not at all recommend doing a pocket listing whatsoever. If you have a place that's has a lot more affluency or people that want to have that anonymity, and that seclusion and that privacy, that's in terms of when I would do a pocket listing. But I want to do it for the whole listing period. I would try to negotiate so it's only for um, about a month, because in that way you at least will be able to market it. You'll be at least able to get your clients onto that next chapter, that next journey, and that next stage of life for them. But with all of that, I hope you guys have a great day. Take it easy, stay safe, and if you can't, remember, always have fun. Cheers.